Well, today I'm working on the Yamaha again. This is a VX 1100, and the reason is because when I took it out last time, it worked okay, but then it started going really slow, and then it had a hard time getting up to speed at all. And a little bit of observation was a heavy smell of fuel. When I checked it, it turned out that one of the fuel lines is actually blown off, and it has spewed glass everywhere. So I'll show you here in a second, but that's what we're going to try to fix today.
That's not cool.
Okay, so we got the engine exposed here. What had happened is what I'm going to be replacing is this entire fuel rail and line. But a little bit of description of what happened. So it blew off the connector. You know, it's going to be a tight fit, but I think we'll be able to get it off without having to take anything else out. And then the fuel pump stayed active, and so when you gave it throttle, it was just shooting fuel right out of the gas tank there, which is this, you know, this white container you're looking at, milk juggish type of thing. And so it was just squirting fuel right into the engine bay. And what we noticed is when you looked, one, it smelled like fuel, but it's mostly water down there, but you can still see a little bit of a scum line. I hope you never have that problem happen where this fuel hose fails on you. But if you do, you might check up there and see if that's your failure point. Let's see if we can replace it and fix it. Okay, well, first I thought you might like to see what the fuel rail and hose looks like. This is where the fuel rail itself, so where the injectors plug in. Each one of these ports is where a fuel injector goes. These four prongs are places where electrical connections are mounted, and these are just the bolts to remove it. Now, what failed, of course, on mine wasn't the metal rail was fine. This connection was also okay. It's the connection of this hose clamp, you know, the fuel clamp, and this hose. So it was just the interface between this and this. Okay, a little bit of a look at the connector as well. So it has this plastic cap that comes off, and then it has this red ring. So to get the one out that's in the jet ski right now, I expect us to remove the black cap, spread or pull off this red connector, and then it should slide off. So this is the hose. I'll try to remove the black cap. And then I'm gonna try to grab that red ring thingy. See if I'm trying to grab it. Oh, that went somewhere. There's fuel pouring out of it. Okay, so this is the fuel line. The red piece is somewhere in my jet ski. I'll find that soon. But you can see down here at the base, it just wasn't holding it anymore. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking off these connectors for the fuel injectors. And to do that, you're just going to need to squeeze this top part and then pull, and then you get them off. So the next piece is going to be these four electrical connectors. They are just holding the wiring to the rail, and it looks like I'm going to have to take off this zip tie that's zip tying it to the rails too. But for these connectors, you just lift up on the connector and pull. Ta-da! Lift up and pull. There, those guys are off now. I'm gonna get these zip ties off. Since these press fit into the fuel rail itself, I'm just going to pry them out, and then I can pop them into the new one. There. Okay, so everything is disconnected from the fuel rail. The electrical connectors on the tabs, the injector connectors. Next, I'm going to use a 13mm and just take these 2 bolts, and that should lift up. When we lift it up, I'm going to be careful because I don't really need to lift the injectors. If they come out, that's fine. But I just want to make sure I don't lose any O-rings or any seals that I would need to do that. So just, I'm going to do it carefully, right? Make sure I don't lose any pieces. So 13mm. It's just 2 bolts. So far, this is going really easy. I probably shouldn't say that right in the middle. There's 2. I'm gonna lift these up carefully. Okay. That's the fuel rail. So this is what it looks like with the rail removed. Those 4 holes are where the fuel injectors go in. And over here we have old rail, new rail. Next step is going to be removing the injectors from the old rail and then putting them into the new one. Okay, so removing the injectors is actually pretty simple. They're just held in there by friction. Once again, I'm just wiggling this out, and then we're gonna double check to make sure we don't lose any like O-rings or something. So we're gonna take it slow and steady. Finally, there we go. Has an O-ring on the top of it. It looks pretty junky, quite honest. But anyhow, this is the injector. I'm gonna clean them up before I put them in the next one. This injector looks a lot better. Granted, the business end is this one. This is the end that matters, but the whole thing should be clean. Okay, so I've cleaned up the old injectors, and so now it's just putting them back in. And that is as simple as a press fit. I'll press them here when I get another free hand, and then we'll put it in and align it on the engine. Okay, so these have a squared portion, you could say it, and that's where the plug is gonna go. So that one is in. This one. Same thing. There. Okay, so the fuel rail has its injectors back. Now it's time to put it back in the engine. Okay, so these are the 4 holes for the injectors. We're just gonna line them up and they press fit in. Okay, so those are fully seated. And I'm gonna put in these bolts to make sure nothing moves around or wanders while we do all the connections. Put these on. I wonder if I go under on each of them. I think that'll look cleaner. Click. Click. Okay, so now all the injectors are in, the fuel rail is in, it's hand snugged down. I've got this. So now we just need to attach these electrical connectors to the tab, And I'm also gonna press fit these zip ties back in when they're ready to. So here's first one, it just slides on. Second. Come on. There we go. Now I'm just gonna press fit these zip ties back. Fuel rail is all on there. I'm just gonna tighten it up. And then it's just about making the connection with the fuel line. There we go. Okay, so we have this red collar here, and here it is. And I bought this part secondhand, which is, I guess, my way in many ways. But the collar itself has the ability to slip connect in one direction, and then it has a sharp bite on the other direction. And I think, I'm hoping, I took off the collar here, and I'm gonna reinstall it with the bite facing backwards. And I think that was the opposite way that it was on there. And so maybe when they took it off, you know, at the salvage yard, they didn't put it back on the right way. And so now it's press releasing off instead of press, you know, biting as it pulls back. So I'm gonna give that a try. That feels a lot better. A lot better. Okay, here's hoping that's what it was. I'm gonna put on the black cap because the black cap caps it so it can't move. So that red collar can't back off. All right, here we go. Try number 2. Okay, fuel line is pressurized, and now we'll see if it leaks. Whew. Good. That looks like it is it. And just so you can see it's all good back here, we'll do another run test. Great. Okay. Well, I hope this helps. If you need to replace your injectors, your fuel rail, or your fuel line like me, I hope you got something out of it. You guys have a good day.